So this is my review of Sonic CD. In my view, this game hasn't really aged very well. In my view, I think people may like it because there's some certain music that is better, and I think that's only true if you go with the Japanese soundtrack because I don't think the American is very good. But there's also some cool cutscenes in the intro and the ending of this game. And I think that's really why this has a fan base. That people just like the presentation of this. But the game itself is it's not very good. It's a the problem is the level design itself is horrible. It just goes all over the place, and you just have trouble finding out where you're supposed to go. I mean, it's a mess. I think it's just a massive mess of level design. I don't think this is a very good Sonic game in my view. So this is like the least memorable of all of them, in my view at least. I I mean I know Sonic 1 and 2 are really hard games, but they are at least memorable despite how hard they are. Sonic CD, I think the only hard part is like at the end of the game because there's some tricky things that is almost Sonic 1 and 2 hard in terms of using the momentum of looking around instead of rushing through it. Because Sonic CD is very forgiving when it comes to rushing through the game, but at the end it kind of gets a little bit hard actually. But yeah, it's not a very hard game compared to Sonic 1 and 2 in my view. But it's also just has the worst design of level design. I mean, there's springs everywhere. There is hoops. It just tricks you every time. I don't like that. So in my view, I would say this is like a 6 out of 10 for me. Um, yeah, this is like not the best Sonic game of 2D era at least. So yeah, 6 out of 10 is my view. I will sort of say this is a mediocre game, but it also has a good soundtrack, so that kind of makes up for it. But 6 out of 10 is the highest I will give it. So yeah, that's my rating. Thank you for listening, and bye. I guess I've got to mention some honorable mentions. Um, this was also the first Sonic game to introduce Amy. Although her design changed drastically in Adventure series, and that has been the design of Amy since then. But this was like the game that introduced her as a character, so I think that's cool. And they also have Metal Sonic, which I think is a cool character. And they also have a very cool bonus stage if you get 50 rings, like it's Sonic 1. I think that's sort of like what Sonic CD was. It was a co-development for just so people could have an excuse to buy Sega CD, which was an expensive add-on at the time. This was like sort of like a development factor from Sonic 2 and CD, because Sonic 1 was very cool game, and so they kind of made two Sonic games, one for the Sega CD and one for Sonic 2 for the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, as we call it in the United States. So those are the honorable mentions I will say that this introduced. It's a cool thing, but as a game, this is like a 6 out of 10 for me. So as a rating, just in as a whole. But it's cool that they introduced stuff, but it's just not the best Sonic game of the 2D era, in my view. So yeah, thank you for listening and bye.